Greetings, friends and family. Adrian Lobo here. And in this special presentation video, I'm going to share with you my unique dance system called the Tao Pop System. Now, for many of you who have been watching me out there and following my videos and following my work, you may have noticed that I've been talking about a unique dance system that I've created, or channeled rather, or brought forth. And this is a system of dance that combines my foundation of street dance style, which is the popping style, also known as pop locking style, and the animation dance styles, with Taoism. And we have the yin yang right behind me here. But not only Taoism, but also the sense of Eastern philosophy. Also, I imbue it with shamanism, naturalism, holistic health concepts, ancient spiritual traditions, and just all this awesome ancient wisdom that has been brought forth for thousands and thousands of years. And fusing these two paths into one unique system of movement that not only teaches you the awesome techniques and foundations of dance, but also teaches you a deep wisdom that is embedded within the methodology of this approach. So this video is an attempt to explain the system, the Tao Pop system that I've brought forth. And it's to help people out there kind of understand how I teach and present this unique system of dance, not only in my online course that I have on my website. I have a beginning online course that kind of teaches you the introduction of it, but I'm also working on a huge academy that will have all the elements of the dance system on the website. Also, this is how I teach my coaching clients, my dance mentorship program that I have people who enroll in. They want to work with me and learn my unique system. This is basically the step-by-step process in which I present the information. So the way I'm going to present it is I have a really fun drawing program, and I'm going to draw out the picture of how the system works and how it's presented so that you have a visual idea of how it looks and you understand the philosophy and methodology behind it. So before we begin, I'd like to mention that the best way I can describe this system of dance and the way it's also been created is through the story of creation according to the ancient Taoists. And the story of creation is also embedded in many ancient wisdom traditions that have been around for millennia. So let's begin. So what I'm going to do here is share my screen. And what we have here is my sketchbook pad. So don't look at this symbol yet. We're not going to get there yet. All right. So the Tao Pop system presentation begins now. Now, in the Taoist story of creation, they say in the beginning, before there was a beginning, before there was an end, before there was time, there was the infinite nothingness and void. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw in big black nothingness. And this represents the Wuji, the nothingness of creation. There was nothing. And it's so hard to understand. You cannot understand the nothingness really through your logical mind. You can only understand it through meditation and stilling the mind, stilling the thoughts. And in the Tao Pop system, we honor this part of the story of creation when we enter meditation. And meditation is a huge component of the Tao Pop system. Meditation is taught to the dancers that enter the system in a sense that it helps you align with the nothingness, helps you align with your center, and brings about your greatest empowerment through your dance expression when you come from a meditative state. So before you dance, before you even move, you enter into a state of stillness. You meditate, and you just enter into the emptiness of your mind, still your thoughts, so that before you start your dance practice or your dance expression, you're literally letting go of all the stress, all the tensions, all the stories, all the positivity even, just the whole general story of your life, the story of your day, just letting that all go, putting it behind you and entering the nothingness so that you come into alignment with your center before you dance, so that when you dance, you are in the most aligned state. Now, proceeding from the Taoist story of creation. From the nothingness, at some point, something happened, and it's hard to describe when it happened. But from the nothingness was born, I'm going to get a little circle here, was born the One. Now, the One can represent many things, but ultimately, it represents the idea of God, or creator, source, consciousness, or awareness, the first consciousness of the universe. In science, this can also be related to the Big Bang, or actually, no, sorry, not the Big Bang, not quite yet. We're not at the Big Bang yet. This is before the Big Bang, but this is the One. And in dance, before you dance, you're meditating, you're entering the stillness. Now you go from 0. We're also going to use numerology here. We go from 0 to 1. Now the 1 is you aligning with creator, a higher power, source, your higher self. Whatever word you want to use, if you're religious, if you're spiritual, or if you're not, if you're an atheist, you could just use the one of your consciousness, the one awareness, your center point, your source point, your vortex point. And this allows the dancer to just basically align with the higher power, come with intention, come with mindfulness, and dance in a much more empowered state. So we have the One. From the One, when the One was born into being, it inevitably created the Two. And in the Taoist story of creation, the Two, let's see here, I got to change my size of my brush, the color. In the Taoist story of creation, the Two manifested as yin and yang. Now I have a better symbol, actually. Instead of drawing it, I have the actual symbol. Oh. Yin and yang. So yes, yin and yang is basically the polarities of life. Feminine versus masculine, light versus dark, left versus right, up versus down, cold versus hot. And I'm sure many of you out there can guess that idea. Well, in the Tao-Pop system of dance, the yin and yang is where we start to learn and move and understand movement. Yin and yang is where the beginning dancer starts in the foundation of your dance training. You must understand the 0, then the 1, and then the 2, and the yin and the yang is one of the most fundamental aspects of the dance. Now, why is that? Well, yin and yang can teach us so many things. Yin and yang can teach us how to be the most harmonious, most balanced dancer we can be. And in my opinion, when you have harmony, when you have balance, you can have the most beautiful movement expression. Not only that, but when you have harmony and balance in your life, when you can balance and understand the principles of yin and yang in your life, you can have the most awesome life, most healthiest health, most happiest happiness, most greatest greatness, awesomeness. So how does this translate into the Tao-Pop system? Well, let me first fix this background. First, we're going to cover my sloppy yin and yang attempt here. Actually, we're going to first create emptiness again. There we go. All right, yin and yang. Lessen that. This over here. Whoops. All right, now I'm going to get my pen tool. So here we go. The yin and yang in dance. And this is not just my own system of dance. This can be translated into all forms of dance. Anyone can use this concept. And I've met many dance teachers who talk about this too. So here on the black, that is represented as yin. Here on the left, on the white, that is represented as yang. Yang is considered the masculine, the yin is the feminine. Now, when it comes to dance, when it comes to movement in the Tao-Pop system, The most basic idea of yin and yang in dance is, in its most fundamental form, is movement and stillness. Now, this is just a law of nature, a law of the universe, the way things work, the way things operate in life. So every dancer must know how to be moving and how to be still. And in popping, this is actually really important. It's actually one of the best ways to create proper illusion in your dance. And we'll get to that in the future. But one of the most fundamental aspects of the dance training in the Tao Pop system is understanding two basic components of dance that can be broken down, and that is the move and the groove. Move and the groove, yes. So the move is the yang aspect of dance. The groove is the yin aspect of dance. Now the move is basically anything that's considered technical movements, any movements that's needed with your mind. In the popping dance style, it is associated with all of the tricks and the illusions, all the techniques and the fancy dance styles that you have. The groove, on the other hand, is the soulfulness, the dance, the feeling in the dance. That's when you're not thinking of trying to be fancy. That's just when you're trying to feel the music. You're entering into music and becoming the music. And the reason why that's yin is because it takes a feminine approach to the dance, to the music, in order to even enter the groove. You need to let go of your mind, let go of your tensions, let go of your aggression, and just enter into that feeling state. And the feeling state is associated with the feminine aspect of life and the yin aspect of life. The move, on the other hand, is yang. That's masculine. The masculine is associated with the mind. That's thinking. And we need to enter the thinking state in order to train our technique, to think about concepts, to enter into all these styles. Now, you can be yang with your groove inevitably, because as we can see here, we have yang within yin and yin within yang. I can't show the white on there, but you know what I'm saying. The yin within yang is that little black dot there. And that's showing that you can have a feminine approach, a relaxed approach to your technical movements, and vice versa. You can have a technical approach to your groove movements. And that's the beauty of the symbol here. It's so amazing, it's so deep, and it can be translated so much. So in the Tao Pop system, we train the dancers to understand how to groove, how to dance and feel the music, and then how to move, how to have a technical training. And in the Tao Pop beginning course that I have on my website, we basically train you to, in the move aspect, how to do dime stops, which is the ability to stop, and also isolate. And we have an isolation drill exercise to help you isolate different parts of your body. And on the groove training aspect, we have ways to groove your body, grooving with your head, grooving with the shoulders, grooving with your core. A lot of groove comes from your core. And also an advanced groove copying video that you kind of copy my movements and accessing more advanced layers of grooving. So that's the yin and yang aspect of the dance. And in the story of creation. Now, in the Taoist story of creation, moving forward with our story here, the yin and yang, when the yin and yang came into form, when yin and yang came into form, it was able to manifest what they say the 10,000 things. And the 10,000 things is basically all of creation. All the things we see, from light to dark, from dust to planets to stars, all of these things here. But also, before the 10,000 things, the yin and the yang manifested into the 5 elements. And this is the next step of our story of creation. So we're going to take out the yin and yang. And next is, we're going to draw a little mini yin and yang here. So the yin and yang birthed, it's like a little radiating symbol there, the 5 elements. Now the 5 elements are an amazing aspect of the universe, of life itself, of all of creation. And the idea that the ancients told us is that everything is broken down, well, firstly, primarily through energy. But energy can be manifested through the 5 rays, the 5 vibrations, which is these 5 elements here. And the 5 elements we have, and in the Tao-Pop system, I will also be mentioning their dance style equivalent. So first you learn your yin and yang foundations, then you go to the 5 elemental dance mother styles of the Tao-Pop system. And these 5 elemental mother styles are the 5 foundational styles that make up the popping umbrella style, the pop lock styles, and all the animation styles. And all the styles that we have come from these 5 mother styles. So the first one we have here is the fire element. And this style is related to boogaloo / popping, which can be done by itself. And I'll explain that right now, actually. So popping by itself, without any other style, is the idea of hitting and dancing with angles. And that pop, boom, that popping motion, that popping technique is what creates the pop in the popping dance style. Boogaloo, on the other hand, is another aspect of the fire element, and that is a very dancey, groovy style. It comes from funk music, the 70s era, and it uses a lot of rolls in the hips, rolls in the legs, neck rolls, head rolls, and it's a super funky dance. And the reason why popping and boogaloo is associated with fire is first, popping, you need a hit, and it's basically little explosions in your body. And your body literally starts to increase in temperature as you hit. Also, boogaloo style is very joyous, is very soulful-like. And when people do their boogaloo style, it's like a dancing flame. They're like moving and like turning and flickering, and it's really powerful. So that's why it's associated with the fire element. Oh, let me also mention that the styles are not restricted to these elements. The reason why I connected the elements to these styles in this way is to describe kind of like their archetypal personality. But popping and boogaloo does not have to be fire. You can have a watery boogaloo or an earth boogaloo or a wind boogaloo and so forth. You can combine the elements, so they're not restricted to just these elements. But in their natural state, in their archetypal state, in their raw essence, this is associated with these elements. They correlate to these elements. In my interpretation, this is how I view it, and to me, it's the most accurate. And it's just like how we're all born with a personality. We're all born with a zodiac. I'm a Scorpio, right? And Scorpios are said to be watery in nature, mysterious in nature, and that's just my natural archetypal personality. But I don't always have to be like that. I can train myself to be more not mysterious, more blatant, more fiery, more obvious, right? So that's just how it can translate to the dance. Next, let's moving on. We have here the gold energy, or the gold color or yellow color, and this is associated with the earth element. And the earth element is associated with footwork styles. And this is everything having to do with your feet on the ground or dancing on the ground. And that is everything to do with footwork, movements such as gliding, sliding, spinning, balancing, or knee work on the ground, going into the W, laying on the ground, turning on the ground. This is all the ground movement styles. So pretty self-explanatory. Next, we have here the metal element. And it's also, in my system, interchangeable with lightning. But the dance style here we have is robot. Now, the robot style is associated with metal, obviously, because robots are made of metal. And robot is a very important dance style in the pop lock styles. You're moving one segment at a time. You're basically doing your best to embody the robot. Now, the robot is considered to be the father of popping, because the robot basically was the mainframe, the blueprint that birthed all these other illusional styles. So robot is a super key style to learn. Lightning is also associated with animation. And animation is basically not just robotics, but also techniques such as vibration, ticking and strobing, looking unreal, claymation, adding this like jittery effect, glitches. Also, slow motion is considered animation, so anything unreal. And the reason why lightning is associated with that is because the vibration is one of the most foundational movements of animation, and it looks like you've been struck by lightning. Also, robots are fueled by electricity, so metal and lightning are interchangeable. Next, in this story of creation, we have the water element. Now, the water element is associated with the dance style of waving, one of my favorite styles. Waving is passing a wave through your body and all the liquid-like movements. And that's pretty self-explanatory. Next, we have, and last but not least, the wind element. And this dance style is associated with tutting. The tutting style is the geometry style, the geometric linear style. And the reason why it's associated with the wind element is the wind element is associated a lot with the intellect and the mind and having a very mathematical precision-like mind. And tutting requires that kind of mind to do the style. Also, in Chinese medicine, the wind is associated with the wood element as well. So wind and wood are interchangeable. But yes, we have the tutting style. And there we have it, my friends. These are the 5 elemental mother styles. And in the Tao Pop system, the dancer first learns yin and yang here, but then you go and learn all these 5 elemental styles. And in my online course, I give you the foundations and fundamentals of each of the 5 styles. And ideally, I want the students to learn the basics, at least the basics of each of these 5. But once you have the basics, you then choose a style that you most feel resonant with. Sometimes I meet people who really want to go into the waving style. So you start there and you go deeper into waving and master that. Or maybe you like the footwork styles and you want to master your footwork and become an earth style dancer or a wind style dancer or fire style dancer. So either way, you want to choose at least 1 or 2 styles to really focus in on and have that as your base style. It's a little harder if you're going to try to advance in all 5. And eventually you want to do that in order to fully master the dance style in its entirety. But it is recommended to master at least 1 or 2 at most, because it's better to master, 1 or 2, because then you progress overall in your dance much better, much faster. And you can become more specialized. And it's much better overall as a dancer. So yeah, these are the 5 elements of mother styles. And I love creating elements in the dance because not only does it teach you, the styles, but it also gives you a way of thinking. And I want dancers to have an elemental way of thinking and approach to the dance because it teaches you not only about dance, but also about life. Life is made up of the elements. And it's such a deep aspect of life. I want people to understand the elements in their dance, in their life, because it'll help you. And it'll help us connect closer to nature and honor nature, but also 2, how to be more harmonious with life and all its aspects of life. And in your dance expression, you can also add the textures and feelings of these elements in your dance. For example, if you want to be a tutter and you really love tutting, you can learn how the wind element can help you with that. Thinking of wind, thinking of how wind moves and changes directions rapidly, or geometrical, mathematical equation-like movements. Or if you love waving, you can study water and the way water moves, or animals that live in water. This will help you advance your movement expression even more. So that, my friends, is the elemental aspect of the dance. Next, in the Tao Pop system, we have, after you've learned your elemental styles, we still have the 5 elements, but not focused on the elements, but once you've learned your foundations in dance, the next thing you have to ask yourself is, what path of a dancer do I want to take? Now this chart here is considered to be the 5 paths of dance. Now the 5 paths of dance are the warrior, the magician, the monk, the healer, and the lover. Now, this is the first time I've really described this, but the 5 paths of dance. So basically, here's how we break it down. You can choose 5 paths of the dance path, and you choose which one you feel most called to. The dance warrior is the dance battler. The dancer who dances because they want to be competitive. They want to enter battles. They love the competitive aspect of it. And if it's not battles, they have a purpose. They're like a dance activist. They're dancing for a purpose. They're fighting for something. There's something very warrior-like about their expression towards dance. Next is the magician. The magician is the performer. The person who loves to dance to perform, to enchant crowds, to be magical with their dance, tell stories. They love being on the stage. And that's why they dance. The next path is the dance monk. This is the dancer who doesn't care about popularity, who doesn't care about competing, but just loves to study the dance. They love to be the scholars of the dance. They're the dance historians. They're also the dance teachers. They love to teach the dance. They love to understand the dance in its entirety. And sometimes these are the people who talk about dance more than they actually dance. And they are the best lineage holders of dance. They are the best teachers of dance. Next is the dance healer. This is the dancer who dances in order to heal themselves, who dances as a form of therapy. They use dance to heal an aspect of their body or an aspect of their personality to have more confidence or to heal a certain trauma. Last but not least is the dance lover. This is a dancer who loves to dance because they want to connect to people. This is all about relationships now. You dance because you are love to dance with a partner, like partner dancing. Or this is the choreo dancers, the people who are part of choreography teams. Those teams you see in World of Dance or America's Best Dance Crew. These are the people who love to be in a group-like setting. And it's all about being in a community, having relationships, friendships, alliances. And this is part of the dance culture. And the dance lovers are the ones who build the culture and bring people together through events and whatnot, because you just love the dance and you also love people. So these are the 5 paths of dance. And last but not least, there's also a 6th hidden path here. And this path is when you've mastered all paths. And this leads to sage. And the sage is the master of all paths. You have to walk all 5 paths in order to become the sage. And the sage ultimately leads to dance enlightenment, or dance mastery, dance illumination. And that is the highest activation of dance. And there's only very few people in this world who are the dance sage. I am not one of them. I am working towards my sagehood. But yes, that is the mastery of all 5. Now, moving forward in the Taoist store of creation, not only do we have the 5 elements, but we also have, let me cover up this little thing here. Oh. We have the Bagua, the 8 trigrams. Now, in the Tao-Pop system, the 8 trigrams are associated with the 8 virtues of dance. Let me get it white here. Here we go. The 8 virtues. Now, the 8 virtues are not styles of dance, but rather skills of dance, things that you add on top of your dance that will help your dance expression move even further. Now let me list these dance virtues out so that you start to understand what I'm talking about. First, you have musicality, creativity, power, health, character, finesse, mindfulness, and last but not least, emptiness. So these are the 8 virtues of dance. And as you can see, these are not styles, but rather virtues. They're skills to help you harness your elemental styles even further. So the first one, musicality. Musicality is the ability to interpret the music with your ear. How well are you able to interpret the music? How well are you able to hit all the sounds in the music? Not only that, but to capture the essence and feel and emotion of the music. So musicality is a super important skill. Next, we have creativity. Being creative with your movement, being able to step outside of the box, flip styles, create new concepts. Creativity is a super powerful virtue to have. Next is power. Now, it's not in the sense of being super powerful, but it's how you gauge your power. You have to have the ability to be not only powerful in your dance and dance with high energy, but also be able to dance with low energy, subtle power, relaxed power. So that's a super important virtue to have. Next is dance health. You got to be healthy to be a good dancer. You need to have good nutrition. You need to be flexible. You need to have good just mental health too. You don't want to be too crazy in order to be a balanced dancer. You got to have your emotions in check. But yeah, this is mostly with physical health, nutrition, emotional health too, physical health, having good muscular health, strength, and flexibility, and also endurance and stamina are important here. Next virtue is character. Character is also charisma, being able to have a good harnessing your emotions in your dance, being able to embody a character, an archetype, having a being that you summon. Some people, like in crumping a lot, they have these characters they embody. And this is a way of storytelling in your dance. And you don't want to just be a neutral emotion. And when you dance, you want to have your angry character, your warrior character, or your magician character, or your animal, being like a gorilla when you dance, or a tiger when you dance, and these kind of things. So this having character is super important. Next is finesse. Finesse is also associated with grace. Now this is a harder way to define, but it's the idea of having grace in your movements, having a certain element of correct body posture, having good balance, being able to flow seamlessly from one movement to the next. It's a certain skill. You see, it's finesse. It's this ability to have beautiful movement. That's what I'm looking for. A beautiful movement. Having beauty in your movement, having proper form, proper step, posture, good technique. It's not just good technique, it's a certain grace. And if you have questions about that, I can show you dancers who have this. But yeah, that's a good and important virtue. Next is mindfulness. Now, to be a good dancer, you need to have mindfulness. You need to be able to review yourself. You need to be aware of yourself. You need to be aware of where you're at, your level. You also need to be aware of your weaknesses and your strengths. You need to be open-minded. You need to be humble enough to ask for advice or to critique yourself or to just be aware of where you're at in your dance. Also, when you're dancing, you need to be aware and mindful of the audience you're dancing in front of, the stage you're dancing on, the lighting, the clothes you have that you're wearing, the type of event you're at. Just being mindful, all those are important factors to keep in mind when you dance. And the masterful dancer is very aware of all those things, very mindful. Last but not least, we have emptiness. And emptiness is the virtue of surrendering, letting go of all your thoughts, all your mind, all of your control, and fully letting go and surrendering into the music and into the dance. This is a mystical state where you literally let go of yourself, you get lost, you abandon yourself in the music, in the dance. You literally become dance itself, you become the music itself. This is a very spiritual component of the dance. And this is when we enter what's called the flow state. If you don't know what the flow state, check out the Flow Genome Project. Stephen Kotler and his partner Jamie something helped put forth this information. Also, Dr. Csikszentmihalyi talked about the art of flow, and we enter this state where we are at our peak performance, where literally our mind is more emptier. We enter more into bliss state, and we're able to achieve higher potentiality. We dance better, we're stronger, we're faster, we're more creative. We access this ultimate collective consciousness, and we bring forth this energy that we didn't know we had. And having the virtue of emptiness helps you get there, and also helps you align with higher power, your God-like state, your higher self. So that, my friends, are the 8 virtues of dance. And when the dancer goes through their journey, after they've learned the 5 styles, and they've picked their style, and then they pick the path to say they want to be a warrior magician, then they go through that training. But also, you also need to have, the dancer also learns the 8 virtues and starts cultivating those things in their dance. And there we are. This, my friends, is the entirety of the Tao-Pop system as of now. But now you can see a bird's eye view of the dance in its entirety. Now, last but not least, I'm just going to draw out, the map of it really quickly here. So again, we have the nothingness, and I'll just scribble there. Then you have the one, and you have the yin and yang. And yang branches out to the 5 elements, and also the 5 dance paths, and then of course the 8 virtues. And that is the Tao-Pop system in its entirety. And there you have it, folks. That's basically the best way I can show and share with you the Tao-Pop system in a bird's eye view. And now you can see your journey and where you will go with this dance training, with this dance path. And it helps give you a framework to see and choose where you want to go in your movement expression. And I found that in street dance, this type of map here is lacking in the dance world. And people start dance and they just kind of intuitively go from one thing to the next. But I have been in dance world about 13 plus years, and I have studied many dancers and movement artists alike, not just dancers, but movement artists, martial artists, and whatnot. And also Chinese medicine and the Daoist wisdom and shamanic wisdom, ancient traditions. And that's where this path, this map, has been born from. Now, this is just the first manifestation of it. I do have plans to create a book and to create pictographs and much more fancier maps and pictures and images and artwork that will help kind of give a clear eye of the Tao-Pop system in its entirety. So stay tuned for that. It's probably going to take a lot longer. It's going to take much more time for me to come out with that information. So this is the first video for now that's going to explain everything in its entirety. And this is what we go through in my my Dance Jedi apprenticeship program. I don't have all this training up on my website yet, but it is what I'm working towards and will come in the future. For now, I only have the very beginning foundations of yin and yang and the foundations of the 5 mother style elements. In the future, I will have training on the 5 dance paths and the 8 virtues of dance. So stay tuned for that. But if you want access to that information, the only way to access that is through working with me one-on-one. And in my one-on-one dance Jedis that I work with, I help them go through each of those layers of the dance. And if you feel called to that, if this style of training, if this unique dance path calls to you, If you love technique and you want to learn how to move in these ways, but you also want something deeper, you want some philosophy, you want some deeper energetic principles, some laws of the universe and ancient wisdom, then I believe that this is a perfect system for you. And that's who I'm looking for. People who are deeper, who want to approach the dance in a deeper way, who are seeking something much more powerful and potent. So that, my friends, is the end of my Tao-Pop System presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that this made sense. If you have any questions, let me know. And stay tuned for more. There's much more. I have a lot of work to do to build in my Tao-Pop dance system. So thank you, my friends, if you've watched this far. Thank you so much for joining me in this presentation. This is my work, my life's work, and this is what I'm here to bring forth in the world. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm here for you. Until next time, peace and infinite blessings. May the Tao and the dance force be with you all.